Welcome back to the Finnish Legacy Nationals of 2024. My name is Anttu Kaipainen, this here is Nalle Selavo with me today, and we are up to round 7. It's been an exciting day with a lot of great matches here.
Yes, indeed. And we had one that was very exciting before, with two Stompys together, you remember?
I do remember.
It was
beautiful.
great. And it was actually so great that we decided to have one more go with another one of those.
Oh my god, what do we have here today?
Yes, it'll be a Moon Stompy. That'll be the one that Heikkala played earlier during our coverage. And that will be oncoming very soon to our screens here. And against him is something very interesting indeed.
What do we have?
It'll be some mono black Helm combo.
That is beautiful. Also known as Mono Black Stompy.
To a degree, yes.
But these days it is more known for the fact that it will win out of nowhere with the Helm of Obedience.
Yes. And with either Leyline of the Void or with Darthy Voidwalker.
All excellent cards to play in Magic in 2024.
Indeed.
And looks like players are getting really ready for the games. As it is going for the first hands at the moment. On the left we have Hermanni Heikkala with the Moon Stompy, and on the right Valtteri Yli-Länttä on Mono Black Helm. Both are playing for the win and end, if I am not incorrect at the moment.
Yeah. Of course, there are some things that might change on the way. There are situations where the winner of these matches might not end up in top 8, but there is a good chance that either one of these, whoever wins, will be in the top 8.
That sounds excellent. So, what can you tell me about this Mono Black Helm deck?
Well, I actually had the privilege of watching this match just earlier on, as they were a reserve feature match for the last round. He played against Esper Stoneblade sort of deck. And it really did seem to be something quite extraordinary, let's say. Fast mana and some good combo pieces to go with it, and to add all that up with some really good fair game tools such as the One Ring was really, really interesting to see.
Speaking about fair game, here we have Borside Bombardiers, turn 1, on the field from Hermanni, one of the more powerful openers from the deck these days. Getting out a haste creature, which can turn into an actual cannon when it throws a fury onto your opponent's creature or their face.
Yeah, but Valtteri is not having any of that, going for the fast mana, also with a Swamp and Chrome Mox.
Is it Fatal Potion underneath?
Could be.
Yeah, looks like it.
Or
But this one, Dark Ritual.
Dark Ritual, yeah.
Is he going for something very fast?
Helm of Obedience.
All right, this is going to turn out into a very explosive match for the players.
Yes, there is a good chance that this ends in tears for Hermanni on turn 2.
Absolutely. Nothing is said and done yet, though. Hermanni can still have plenty of answers, for example, by just destroying the Helm.
Yes.
It's a red deck, which this is one of the only decks which might actually have artifact removal main deck as well.
Very true. And naturally, the Bombardiers does deal with Darthy Voidwalker if that is the route that Valtteri will be going for.
That is true, but here we have Helm of Obedience right here, the namesake card of the Mono Black deck. Even though it is a one-off in the deck, it is still a so important card that it is the namesake card of the deck.
Yes.
So how does it work with the Darthy Voidwalker that we see right here?
Well, basically the idea is the person would be milling his deck for 1, because that will be activated for 1, as it's the all that's needed. And if for some reason the card that goes to the graveyard does not, does match the color or whatever, it doesn't really matter, as the cards are not actually going to the graveyard. They're going to exile. And when they're going to exile, they're all gone together. And that'll be the game.
That was a very fast kill from the Mono Black Stompy.
Turn 2 kill.
Oof. That is rough. It can't really get faster than that with the deck.
No. That is the fastest, the most explosive version of that match that could even, in theory, happen. But that's what we sort of signed in for.
Yeah.
After all, it's legacy. Only vintage could be even faster, but basically we have turn 1 wins here. We haven't seen any today, but turn 2 also on the cards.
All right, looking at the sideboard of the players, Heikkala has some Pure Blast, not really good card here. Fairy Macabre, not that good of card either. Fear Confluence, I could perhaps see. Does it deal with artifacts? Do you remember?
It does indeed, but it is 4 mana.
Yeah, it is quite slow. That's
So,
very true. Trinisphere as well. Heikkala is going to be on the play. I could see it being a very reasonable thing to bring on this kind of match, where speed is the key.
Yeah, and it does deal with Urza Saga and that sort of thing to a degree. As you know, well, there's Trinisphere and there's that, and then you can't basically play that unless you are ready to activate it and etc. It'll be just not game, but a land lost
Basically.
during that time. But naturally, we have no idea what they're actually going to do.
That is very true, but we can do some educated guesses here, for sure.
Yes.
And Yli-Länttä over here on their sideboard, it is more of actual sideboard with everything that you can more or less imagine to have. Yli-Länttä is playing Karn on the main deck, so there are some Karn pieces which are likely to be not brought in, such as Vexing Bubble.
Yeah.
There and a Pithing Needle, I would guess they will stay on sideboard. Helm of Obedience as well, Ensnaring Bridge, Torpor Orb, one Rings as well. So it might be that none of the artifacts are actually coming in; they will stay there. Outside of that, there is a Barrogoyf for more aggressiveness, Damnation to deal with the boards, Blade Engineers. The deck is not playing that many goblins anymore, so I don't think.
No, I'm not sure if many of those cards are actually needed here.
I could see there's one Shield with the Apocalypse, which I could very much see to be brought in.
That is correct. That could be good.
It is such a good card if the game goes into a grind, which is very likely is to be.
Yeah.
And here we see some of the key cards from Yli-Länttä's deck overall. So it is a mono black Helm. It aims to cast Besiege the Mirror in a very early stage to get the Helm of Obedience into play, while controlling whatever opponent is doing with Opposite Agent to prevent the search effects, Doughty Voidwalker, giving you the cards that the opponent loses eventually, sometimes to a great degree.
Yes.
I think all of us have seen at least one time Doughty Voidwalker into Thoughtseize into Emrakul.
Yeah, that is entirely what could happen. It hasn't happened really today yet,
Yeah.
and probably won't now. But there is a good chance that there will be something very interesting coming up very soon.
Absolutely.
And we're moving towards the game itself. The players are already shuffling it up.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see, will this also end on turn 2? That would be very interesting to see.
It would be great to see a second turn 2, but I would also want there to be a great game of Magic, even though turn 2 wins also a great game of Magic.
Yes.
Ooh, we can already see that there is a Trinisphere on Hermanni's.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, we saw it over there.
To be honest, I'm not sure if it is there to really tackle the Urza Sagas as such. I will be honest with that. But it is hard to see Valtteri coming back very soon, at least, from one of those.
Do you remember what Trinisphere does?
It makes it cost 3.
Yes, everything costs 3.
Everything costs 3.
So that means that fast mana basically doesn't work.
Yes.
That means that Chrome Moxes don't really work.
Yes.
It doesn't really deal with Saga itself.
No, it definitely does not deal with Saga itself. It just sort of makes it redundant, as you can't really utilize it if you play it on turn 1, for example.
How about City of Traders?
Sure. Those are great ways to help with that. But those
But
are the
definitely
only
reduces.
ways to help with that.
Yeah,
as
definitely,
long as-
definitely reduces the amounts of ways.
Yes.
to use it.
To be honest, though, it also fetches very important pieces in the deck. But for example, the Vexing Bubble that would be the go-to for the most matches is not really doing much here. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Plays drawing the opening 7s. Hermanni at the moment thinking about mulligan or not. There seems to be Ancient Tomb. I think I see a monkey, at least one, but not really sure what to follow up with there. Do you recognize the artifact on the right side?
No, I did not.
I think the one card on the very right was Lilia.
Yeah, that could be.
Mox Diamond, was it there? All right. Seems like Hermanni keeps and Valtteri mulligans to 6.
Yes. Valtteri tends to prefer probably going for something that doesn't indeed die to the turn 1 Trinisphere.
Yes.
Or the turn 1 Moon, which definitely kills There Was a Saga.
Absolutely.
That doesn't leave any questions on the table, as that just, as a state-based action, I believe, makes the Saga go away.
That is very true. Tentagrali actually brings a very good point, that if there is a Vexing Bubble and Trinisphere on the board, Moxes are free to cast, because now mana is suddenly being used.
Very true. It is probably not the best way to use Osa Saga, but it is the way that it would be probably used in this scenario.
All right, Valtteri going down to 5. All right, he's really looking for the things that he wants. We could see very, very well Hermanni's hand as he was shuffling. There was at least 2 monkeys in there.
Oh yeah. So there will be some fast mana.
There was one of those newer cards that you could flip as a land as well.
Yeah, right.
I, for my dear life, I cannot remember what the name of the card is.
And there's Bombardiers and Vexing Bauble as well.
So a lot of action happening on them.
Yes. I'm really looking forward to what's actually going to happen. And naturally, Vexing Bauble in this case on play does turn the Moxen off again, as mentioned earlier in the chat. So,
and this is an interesting point for Valtteri as well. He's mulliganing all the way down to 5 at the moment. So whatever stops Hermanni might have, he might want to go for those much more than he would like to go for aggressive plays, as doing any additional reduction on Valtteri's hand does so much more at this point.
Yes. We'll see what actually happens here, though. Valtteri is having a look at the hand and not immediately shipping it back, so it might be the case of a keep.
Going down to 4 sounds horrible in Magic of 2024.
Yeah, I would sort of advise against it for the most part.
All right. So Valtteri gets a 5-lander, 5-hander. Hermanni starting with Ancient Tomb, getting that 2 pain in. And using a monk. Just casting a Vexing Bubble.
Sure thing.
All right, we get some infos from the sideblinds. First, let's check. All right, so there was a Vexing Bubble, then exiling 2 monkeys, and blame the board side Bombardiers. Woo! So that's basically everything that Hermanni wants on the board right away.
Gas, gas, gas.
And Urbor for Valtteri and going for the own Vexing Bubble.
As well, yeah.
All right, so we know that Koskela and Pakka did an ID, same with Törnström and Mäkelä, ID there as well, and Eloranta and Lepistö apparently as well did an ID.
Yes.
All
so
right.
it would seem.
So we are getting the next 2 top 8s from this match, and the second one from Nousiainen versus Laurila, where Nousiainen was on the stream last round, and they were playing Stifle Knot, and Laurila is playing Death and Taxes with the red flash, if I am not wrong.
Yeah, that could be indeed the case. But all the same, as mentioned earlier, it would seem like either one of these winners could be in the top 8, or it could be the one from Nousiainen and Laurila matchup, or it could be both of them and someone that has ID'd is dropping out.
That is very true. There's also Jere Hallikainen, also with Death and Taxes, but with more of a black splash, who is at the same points. But we can speculate more on those. At the moment, let's focus on the exciting magic that is happening on the table. Well, both players have not really increased their board presence that much. Valtteri did cycle their Vexing Bubble and has played a Shadow Spear on the table, which is a very good way to come back with some of the life gain.
Yes. And Valtteri's deck does have some tools for comeback, unlike the Moon Stompy as discussed earlier.
I guess that card has been played as a land.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like a land.
It really
it should be flipped the other way around. There's also a saga that we've discussed previously. Luckily for Valtteri, there is no Blood Moon in sight, and now if there were a Trinisphere, it wouldn't make any difference really.
Yeah.
As now it's turned 1,000,000, so tapping lands and having constructs will do a lot already.
Absolutely. But on the other hand, Heikkala is also very much ahead on the race. That the first construct token might not make it to the party, as we say.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
There's Dead and Gone. Oh, Shelter's Edict.
Which is very reasonable.
Yes, and that makes the Bombardiers go away.
Yeah.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Hermanni plays the One Ring.
yeah. That is strong. That is very strong.
The One Ring, the most mythical of cards, if I would say.
Yeah, there are at least I'd say 20 in this tournament of these very mythical One Rings, with the famous one being the key word here. But no matter less,
The One Ring is a powerful card from the Tales of Middle Earth set from last year. An
Yes.
excellent set.
yes, one of these Universes Beyond sets that are universally liked and loved by many.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'd say I haven't met anyone that would say otherwise.
Me
Yes.
neither, really.
Yes.
Back to Valtteri, he is not going for a construct, instead opting to go for Doughty Voidwalker. And
another Doughty Voidwalker. Sure
all right.
thing.
I think I can buy this line for sure.
Yeah, especially if the card in hand is the Besiege.
Hmm.
That would be interesting.
That would be amazing.
All that Valtteri needs after that is basically any Minnesos.
Yeah, and that would be a win right away.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things still that needs to be happened. For example, Vexing Bubble would need to be removed somehow because
Yeah.
Besiege is casting.
Like so. That has been cracked for a card.
All right,
That's step one.
that is indeed a thing that has happened. All right. Hermanni has Trinisphere in there, dead and gone.
And the Trinisphere here would make Besiege pretty much
Absolutely.
obsolete as a win con straight away.
Yes.
Naturally, it will still fetch the card,
Yeah.
but that's all.
Then after all of this, there's dead and gone, going dead, so
Yes.
dealing 2 damage to target creature.
All right, then passing the turn.
The burden is increasing.
And the life totals, I believe, are 15, 14.
Sounds about right.
Yes, I believe our technical director is currently going there to fix this and bringing the tablet forward as we speak, so it should be visible very soon.
Draw some cards for Hermanni once again. Wondering, one thing it does the best for sure is overwhelming with card advantage if it's
Yes.
just let be there freely.
Yes.
Hermanni has 6 mana open at the moment. I wonder what he would be going for at this point.
Well, it could pretty much be anything, as well. There are quite a few cards that are costing way less than that.
Another
Okay.
Vexing Bubble.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense. Yeah. 3 mana Trinisphere? No, Bombardiers.
I like this. I like this
Another
a lot.
Bombardiers. That's a lot of damage already there.
It deals with Doughty Voidwalker as well.
Yes. So we are getting further and further away from the win for Valtteri. And moving towards Hermanni's victory.
That is very true. Valtteri does get the Saga, both activation and trigger, if he so wants to. So there's still so many things happening, so many good things happening for Valtteri as well. The Mono Black Helm deck is by no means is going too far into the deep end, but they need to get maybe a little bit extra on the board still.
Yeah, this won't be enough in itself, but what might there be? Or what else there might be? Hermanni is shuffling the cards, Valtteri wondering whether to have mana or tokens or everything.
It is actually a floating mana at this point. Interesting.
Yes.
I wonder what he has in his hand that he wants to do this exactly.
I believe he has cards in his hand.
But thinking it might be Karn that he has
Karn,
in his
yes,
hand.
very, very possible.
That would be something that I would very much like to see on the board if I
Yeah.
was Valtteri.
Naturally, there is an issue of bombardiers that might deal with the Karn.
That is very true, but
But-
it would at least make Hermanni deal with Karn
Yeah.
before he can actually use One Ring again.
Yeah. Or kill Valtteri with that. That is one possibility.
That is also one very good.
But
very good line
we
to go
really
for.
don't know because we don't see Valtteri's hand, nor do we have that complete idea of what Hermanni has either.
Yeah, that is very
Because
true.
as we stand, Hermanni does not have a lethal yet, but it's not far. So let's see what's there. Besiege. All right.
Very reasonable. There was
Yeah.
basically a naked Chrome Mox got
Yeah.
him into this and into a One Ring.
Yeah.
I like this play a lot.
Yes, that will deal with multiple issues that Valtteri is having, such as having only one card in hand
Yeah.
and being very much possibly dead during
Yeah.
the next turn. Naturally, this doesn't remove the chance for it, as Hermanni might just flood the board with different artifacts and creatures that could be just thrown at Valtteri's direction,
Yeah.
and that would be enough in all probability.
Luckily, Broadside Bombardier needs to attack,
Yes,
and it can only do it once per turn.
sure. It will need some time then.
Yes. That's an extra land draw for Valtteri, which he very much wants at this point, I would
Yeah.
say. I would say 5 mana is the sweet spot for the deck.
Let's see.
Passing back to Hermanni after all of that. Hermanni a little bit ahead with the One Ring. The number of cards drawn is getting increasingly more for him. Getting all the
Correct.
answers that he wants.
3 cards,
Total six cards drawn with his 4 mana artifact.
which is entirely okay.
I know, right? So there's 7 cards now at Hermanni's hand. He hasn't played a land. He doesn't want to play a land just to play them, as
No.
they're still of traders.
Yeah, but there is a good chance that Hermanni will try to empty his hand this turn, at least to a degree.
Absolutely, because next turn it will be overflowing a little bit with cards,
Yeah,
for sure. I don't think there's not that many things he wants to keep mana open for. I can see Shatter Skull smashing in there. In his hand, at least, as an interaction, but it's a sorcery, if I recall
Yes.
correctly. Yeah.
so that won't be exactly what Hermanni wants, but let's see.
That's the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I would say that is one of the best cards to be drawn at this point.
Yeah, that does generate a clock.
It generates more clocks, it generates more card advantage, card
Yeah.
selection. It is a beautiful card with this. And at the end of it all, it can copy Broadside Bombardiers.
Yeah,
And there's the Trinisphere.
Yeah.
Slowing Valtteri quite a lot down.
I think there will be at least a decent chance of a lethal attack from Hermanni's part on the next turn.
He would need exactly a Fury.
A Fury, yes.
But
But that is not too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Drawing 4 cards from the One Ring and everything. And also keeping in mind that there is this One Ring for Valtteri as well,
Yeah.
which will be taking some damage to Valtteri unless Valtteri deals with that.
that is very true. Valtteri passing turn after playing Saga, not playing anything else, so I guess he has some answers to the board,
Probably.
as it is. He doesn't need to tick down that much on the board at the moment, because Hermanni is only at 8 life.
Yeah.
But if life totals were to be at very dangerous degree, I guess Hermanni would just throw the ring at Valtteri.
Very
Not
true.
literally.
Yeah,
That is a crime.
Yes, that,
And
don't do that. Don't do that.
And it's not even a magic crime. It is an actual crime to throw
Yes.
cards at people.
Yeah. Although I'd argue it's not that bad of a crime.
Oh, it is still a crime.
It is still a crime, and we do not want to recommend violence as a solution to a game.
That is very true.
in general, at least that is.
At Finnish Legacy Nationals, we do not condone violence.
No. If we were talking about rugby, though, then it would probably be included anyway.
I have been hosting American football as well, professionally.
Really?
Yeah. Back to the issue at hand. So there's a Shadow Skull smashing on the graveyard at the moment. It was discarded by Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Yeah, I'm not surprised as it is a bit slow.
Yes, and I don't think that is the kind of land that Hermanni wants at the moment.
No.
Drawing some extra cards, looking to clock the game out right now.
There is some fast mana at least.
So let's think of what Valtteri could have in their hand. Opposition agents, making a guy. Destroy target creature before attacks.
Yeah,
All right.
targeting bombardiers, that helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing is an instant.
Yes, yeah, it's instant and a land.
It can be everything you want.
Yes. A tad on the expensive side though for a removal, but just that in a pinch.
That is
as
very true.
Seen here.
Goblin Shaman going in, creating treasure
Some
token.
treasure, yes.
It is somewhere behind the camera, I hope.
No, I believe it's behind Hermanni's name. But
And
all
then-
the same.
Let's see what he comes up with next. All right, that's
Another
a lot
city,
of mana being
yeah.
generated.
Yeah, yeah.
That is city. That is city. 4 mana. He's going for more. That is a new One Ring, which
another
I
One Ring.
think is the perfect play at this point. It protects Hermanni from any crazy shenanigans that Valtteri could have, and also makes him not die
Yeah,
to his own ring.
yeah, that would be a bit embarrassing. I've done that at least once or twice. I believe most of us have.
The perks of not owning the One Ring is that you haven't died to your own One Ring.
Well, I haven't owned one either, but I found there was like MTG Arena Cube or something where I just decided to have some damage done to me with
That's
a million cards.
That sounds very reasonable.
Yes,
All
I
right.
enjoyed it a lot.
Here's the card that we have seen a little bit earlier, as played as a land. This time it destroys an Urza Saga and gets him a land into the battlefield
Yeah.
instead. I think this is a very good use of the card instead of a land drop this time.
Very true. And that is an interesting one. We'll get to see what Valtteri has brought up here as something probably is required for him to start closing the game the other direction, because we sort of have a good idea that Hermanni won't be pulling back from this situation.
Absolutely.
Not a lot, at least.
I would say that the best draw for him would be a new One Ring.
Yeah, but I
And here's
believe there
Magus
is
of
only
the
one in the main deck. There could be another one.
Might have been, there was at least one on the sideboard.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
If he has decided to bring one in.
Here's Magus of the Moon on the battlefield from Hermanni, shutting down future sagas.
Yeah, and the Urborg.
Yes.
Although those are not really that big drawbacks currently, as 2 sagas already, I believe, gone. But nonetheless,
Absolutely. Very commanding presence from Hermanni. Valtteri needs to do something this turn to survive.
yeah,
And it has to deal with 2 creatures, basically, because he's going down to 4 when
Yeah.
he takes his turn. And...
or rather, I believe that down to
he was
7.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is,
but
that's very true.
no matter.
Yeah,
as-
he still needs to deal with the creatures and with the ring that is
Yeah.
taking him down.
yeah,
So now,
especially now.
now he is essentially at 4 life. Unless he does something before the ring makes him lose life.
Yeah, I answer to the chat. I believe that the Magus was actually drawn from that card that destroyed the land. I can't remember the name anymore.
That is very likely. The Sundering
Yeah.
Eruption. Yeah.
Yeah, but also as I've mentioned earlier today off camera, it is round 7. We are getting some dexterity errors
Absolutely.
during the gameplay just because we are only humans. We really can't focus 100% for 7 hours on this sort of gameplay. As it is complex. Legacy is a complex format.
Yeah.
And Magic in general is a complex game.
Absolutely, with very different cards, especially a Legacy. There's like today we have seen some cards which people haven't seen in 5 years almost.
Yeah. And we've seen cards that some people have never seen.
Yeah, so lots of things and stuff to play around. Which
Yeah.
makes it game very hard.
Yeah.
Valtteri was looking at his sideboard, so I guess he has a card in hand, I would
That
guess.
would explain, yes.
But I think it will still be a little bit too late for that.
Yeah.
And that's the scoop for the game.
Yeah. And that is not a surprise after the start that Hermanni had. It was sort of coming.
Yes.
And that was really strong, and I do believe the last game will be more than interesting, because they will be exactly playing for the chance to either get into top 8 or at least have a chance for the top 8, and that's not something that you want to miss, not at this stage. Players are currently sideboarding, and this is interesting. They have already sideboarded, as naturally it's game 3.
Yeah.
But there are some small changes, and I saw Hermanni thinking about whether to sideboard the Blood Moon out or not, at least one of those.
I would say that the one Blood Moon out definitely makes a lot of sense if there is a card that he would rather have. While it is a good card, it doesn't prevent most of the swords that Valtteri can have.
Yeah.
It does deal with Ursa Saga, which is something that is very important.
Yes.
But it doesn't really prevent black mana being generated that often outside of Urborg. I think the black deck can have more of the leisure of not being super fast with their openings.
Yeah.
Because they can just kill you out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that is a good point. I don't, at least I wouldn't blame Valtteri for going full-on combo at this point.
I would agree.
Because the long games could very well be going to the Moon Stompy in general. But if you were to go full-on, like turn 1 Helm and turn 2 kill, basically, that sounds entirely reasonable.
Something that I would see happening for sure.
Yeah.
Looking again for Yli-Länttä's sideboard. So we do know that there might be a Shieldred in the deck. I would guess that the Shieldred is in the deck.
Yeah, although if now he is going on for the full combo, then probably not. But the One Rings are prevalent both sides, so it could still be there.
Absolutely. And overall, it is such a powerful card that you should just have it just to fight One Rings on both sides in this match.
Yeah.
Because the long game will go to the Moon Stompy likely, and Shieldred does prevent that.
But that is true. That is true. But we don't know yet.
Yep.
But
Haven't seen any of the sideboard cards so far yet on Yli-Länttä side.
Yeah.
But we will see very soon what is going to happen on that side of the board.
And as discussed, there is only one ring. The One Ring.
There is only one of the
one ring in the main deck, and the second one is not. It's in the sideboard. So there is a good chance of some Khan action even afterwards. But we don't know yet.
Yep.
But we will be knowing very soon.
Absolutely. Players are finishing the mulligans.
Yes. And we are moving slowly towards the games itself. Players are already shuffling up for the last game, the Trinisphere shown prevalently there on the front side of Hermanni's deck.
Valtteri's side, look at his shuffling over here. I haven't seen any sideboard cards. Have you?
I have not seen one. It could be just a case of Valtteri going, oh, well, I'll just go under it.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't decided at all. That is entirely possible, and it is very much okay.
That is very true. There's the classic habit of always sideboarding, even if you don't really need to do anything, just because it makes it look like you are doing something.
Yeah.
Which does make opponents always doubt their plays a little bit more.
Yeah. Interesting outtake, by the way. If you have seen Valtteri's watch there, it's a Polar one of those fitness watches, and
not sponsored.
Not sponsored. I also have one, and it is showing high beats per minute. I'm probably a techno fan, but anyway, it is showing like 80 or 90% capacity or something or rather wear whatever it's called, for Valtteri. And that sort of shows how intense this is, even physically, playing Magic at this level. Just because you have to be thinking a lot of different things, and it is sort of exhausting, even though Valtteri is clearly not having one of those like sports events. Like, he's not running a marathon, but his body sort of is.
Basically, yes, a lot of thinking needs to be done at all times during the day. Both players did mulligan down 6 right here. Passing the cards forward. Again, on the mulligan side, I think Valtteri, if both players are mulliganing, Valtteri will definitely be the one who is going ahead with that.
Yeah.
But I think Hermanni won't mind mulliganing more than Valtteri does.
There are sides to both of these. As surely there is a reason to go for some aggressive mulliganing from both sides.
Absolutely.
But Valtteri's critical mass is quite a bit lower, let's say, than Hermanni's, because Hermanni does need multiple things to win. Valtteri basically needs 2.
Yes. On Hermanni's side, we see Ancient Tomb over there. Is that a second land right next to it? Then there is Broadside Bombardiers, I would guess. Dead and Gone. This card I don't recognize, but it is a red card. Mountain and the Wandering. I guess there is at least one more land on Hermanni's side, because he
Bottom 1.
a mountain.
Yeah.
There's a Urborg, and is that a Tatsis? Yes, it
That
is a
just
Tatsis.
looks like a Thoughtseize.
Last time I was thinking that it might have been a fatal push, but Tatsis makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it was a monkey that was on the hand.
Yeah. And some dead and Gone, and then the Haymakers, Wandering and Magus of the Moon.
Not Broadside as I was thinking, it was actually a Magus of the Moon.
Yeah. But I'm not sure which one Valtteri will be picking. If Valtteri has, let's say, Ursa Saga in the end, then probably it will be the Magus of the Moon.
What I was seeing from his hand was that he doesn't have basic swamps.
Right.
So in this case, I would very much prioritize getting rid of the Magus of the Moon.
Yeah. That's probably a good bet. Of course, One Ring is also something that has to be dealt with.
Absolutely.
So it's not
Give us
easy
lots.
either way around. But
Yes.
yes, that's
is-
the Magus gone.
All right. Valtteri down to 18.
Yeah.
And I guess that will be passing the turn.
Yep.
After they are playing very fair Magic over there, and actually letting the opponent write things down while they are proceeding with the games. This is the kind of sportsmanship that we really want to endorse.
Yes. Not something that can be seen everywhere, unfortunately.
Absolutely. All right, so Hermanni finally picked his cards up, playing the mountain that we have already seen, and passing the turn. Yeah, there's no need for him to try to go for anything faster, and we know that there's the one ring that might be sped up for next turn.
Yeah. So that's Vault of Whispers
Yes.
and the Pass. That is interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised that if there is a 3-drop or something that Valtteri is going for.
No, that does seem weird. But naturally, he hasn't done much with these 2 mana at this point. Only the Thoughtseize, though. So there must be something interesting coming up, whatever it might be.
Hermanni thinking which kind of land to play. Is he going for the One Ring this turn? Does he wait for one more turn and keeping some cards open?
The One Ring would probably be a good bet in general, but
Is there a good counterplay from Valtteri on that? Opposition agent doesn't feel very good against that. Like he could do like Dark Ritual agent.
no.
That's
Perhaps a Besiege
Besiege, yeah.
to get the... It can get a creature as well, can't it? So perhaps the Sheldred then.
Perhaps. Taking 2 pains from here. Oh, and that's Helm of Obedience.
Oh, that's, well, not exactly a counterplay, but
I mean,
certainly something to keep in mind. Because
killing up an opponent is usually a very good counterplay.
yes. I'd usually go for that.
Yeah.
We are not playing EDH here anyway. Or commander, sorry, that's the official term.
That is very true. Hermanni drawing some cards. He wants to have an answer to the Helm. He does have the Dead and Gone, so he cannot answer Darty Watchwalker, but Valtteri could also very much play Yli-Länttä of the Void with this mana sub.
And that's something that Hermanni will have difficulty dealing with non-stop. Because I think there is no card in Hermanni's hand that can deal with Yli-Länttä of the Void.
I don't think so either.
Or in the deck at least. Either.
These days there's no Ratchet Bombs or whatnot, beautiful old cards that used to deal with enhancements.
Yeah.
Alright, here, getting once again...
Take 3, and getting rid of the City of Traders. 4 mana.
Well, there's the Fear Confluence, which we were thinking about as well.
Yeah. So destroy that and 4 to you.
Yes.
Valtteri going, oh, okay.
Or 4 to each opponent, right?
Yeah, that is very correct. But as mentioned earlier, we're not playing Commander here.
I mean, how many opponents can one have in one game? It might be...
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, they can be me, myself, and I.
Yeah, for example. But that does change everything.
Absolutely.
Because Valtteri no longer has access to the combo.
Yes, now he has to play an actual fair game of Magic.
Yes. Which is something Hermanni does really like to have.
Do you know what Hermanni might have missed a little bit over here? There is the Vault of Whispers in the play. He could have destroyed that as well. The Fear Confluence.
Oh, right.
But
a missed chance of causing even more damage to your opponent. More than the physical damage.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I would say that the situation is still very hard for Valtteri at this point.
Yeah. And there's the Doth, so that was a decent chance of game being over just now, but
I would say that Hermanni is still in a very commanding position. He has the One Ring, drawing lots of cards. Helm of Obedience is gone, so he doesn't need to be afraid of that many fast wins. Although Karn still has second Helm to be fetched from sideboard.
Right. Yeah, there is a chance for that.
Mm-hmm. But that is
that'll take
slower.
1 million mana.
Yes. Well, 8 to be exact. But 9 if you want to win it.
Yeah. Somewhere around that.
Yeah. A number of manas.
Yes. More than what one would usually prefer to spend on winning the game.
Absolutely.
Outside of Commander.
Hey.
This is a Commander stream. Right. No, it's not. Alright, so that's dead. Right? It's dead. Dead is the shock side.
Yes, and gone is the second side, which I never remember what it does.
A bounce.
Alright.
A red bounce spell.
Yes.
As one would have it.
And here is Magus of the Moon, which Valtteri will have a very hard time removing.
Yes.
As now there's only Montes in play, and his hand was looking very black.
Very black indeed. Let's see if there is a basic swamp.
I'm sure that he has, but I don't think he has in his hand. I saw a little bit earlier there was the black land that was also destroying creatures. But he can't cast it anymore. He can play it as a land, but I would not like that if I was Valtteri. No, he needs mana source of some sort, like a Drop Mox or Blow Spell, or anything that can give him extra mana at this point.
Yeah, but that's with these cards in hand, that's not going to be easy. Yeah. Valtteri is probably currently thinking about choices in life and wondering whether it was right to play this much non-basics, but I believe he has his reasons. For example, Besiege is a lot better with artifact lands.
That is very much true.
So there probably has been some decisions made, and there's Chrome Mox that we were just discussing.
So this Mr. Valtteri still has manas to play with. Alright, he exiled the card that I was talking about as well.
Yeah.
So the question really is, does he need a second black mana to deal with the Magus? There might be something along the lines of Shieldress Edicts, which there was 2 on the sideboard.
Yeah.
If he brought them in. I'm not really sure what.
We actually saw one earlier. Perhaps it was from main deck, but not sure.
I do not remember, but I do remember creature removal being played earlier in the games.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Hermanni having some thoughts. Looking at more One Rings. Perhaps draw 4. Yeah.
I would draw 4.
I would draw 4.
Would you draw 5?
I absolutely would. Perhaps not from the same One Ring, but in general I would draw 5.
I would say that is very fair.
Yeah.
That is very fair indeed. getting rid of that City of Traders once again. Oh no, because there's the Migrants of the Moon in play. He doesn't need to do that.
Right, yeah.
3 mana play.
And then there's at least Bombardiers,
Yeah.
which is something that will get rid of the one ring that is starting to deal some real damage
Absolutely.
and deal some damage of their own.
So right away from this point, okay, before.
So before that, yes, the SD
Yeah.
Edict.
Yeah. You saw it correct and you remembered correct.
Yeah.
So now Magus of the Moon will be going away likely. I
Yeah.
don't think there's any way for Hermanni to stop that.
No. Or I'd be really surprised with some perhaps exile mana from a monkey, generate some mana from, let's say, mana morphers and then something else.
Right.
Yeah, Hermanni was thinking about sacking the Bombardiers, but no, Valtteri says that hasn't resolved yet.
Absolutely. And I would still say that Hermanni is still in a very commanding position. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
a couple of damages here and there.
Yeah,
He does want to get rid of the ring very soon already. Ooh.
have some 6 life loss from that, damage to be dealt, and is full of things. Are there some fast mana that could be used to generate additional mana here so you don't have to discard?
Interesting.
Doesn't really matter though, because
Yeah.
if Valtteri can deal with Bombardiers, this game will be over very shortly indeed.
That is very true. 4 life left for Valtteri. Basically, Bombardier is shutting down the Ancient Tomb as it is. It can be used one more time, but it will be lethal on Hermanni's side already next turn.
Yeah. So Valtteri does need a removal.
Yes.
That's a certain.
Yes. Removal is the best thing for him to draw, and then after that, Shieldred.
Yeah.
2 Fables! Hermanni feels like he has all the keys he needs
Yeah.
to win the game.
And that could very well be the case.
Yeah. We will see very soon if we have a likely top 8 contender from this game.
Some mana to be tapped, 2 damage from there.
So there's a 5 mana on pool.
Yeah. And that is the one ring.
Alright. It will protect Valtteri for 1 turn. And drawing cards while doing so.
Oh, right. It was tapped for mana from Urborg.
Ooh,
So it
that is very true.
doesn't cause any damage.
Absolutely, even better.
Yes.
So it does protect virtually for 2 turns, I would say.
Yes. Although this is only a temporary solution for Valtteri.
Yes, but drawing cards is a very good solution.
Yes. Only just slightly below the one where you just kill your opponent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thinking about what Valtteri could do from now on here, let's say he gets some mana acceleration in any form, let's say a Dark Ritual, or maybe even 2. He could cast Besiege the Mirror, sacrificing the One Ring, get in a Karn, and doing something after that. Does he have to win with that? Or maybe just getting Shieldred in play? Shieldred might be a little bit too slow.
But there is a good chance.
Oh, second Broadside Bombardiers.
Yeah, those won't do now. Won't do anything now. Hermanni can attack with them, but they won't do damage. What one out that could be there is Ensnaring Bridge from Valtteri, preventing the attacks by Hermanni.
That very much needs to happen right now.
Yeah, there are no alternatives. And if Valtteri uses the One Ring, he also has to get rid of it before he takes his next turn.
I mean, he can go to 1.
Well, yeah, he could, but then
That feels bad.
that is so small amount of life at this point.
That would mean that anything would basically kill him.
Yeah,
Even taking the 1 extra damage from the ring for the next turn, that already feels bad.
yeah. So I highly doubt that, but well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Naturally, the situation is dire, so something has to be done. And if you use the One Ring, you only can tap black from the Ancient Tomb. Unless you have, of course, sacrificed the One Ring to besiege. That's one way to.
Yes. But even if Valtteri decides to use the ring, the result, he uses it or doesn't use it, the end result is the same. He will die if he uses Ancient Tomb as well.
Yeah,
So basically, this is a do or die turn for him.
yeah. And let's see what the do or die means for Valtteri. Drawing 2.
I think I saw ill-gotten gains in the hand.
All right. That's certainly a card. It's a bit on the expensive side for this specific operation. But if you start slamming those dark rituals down, then it won't be that bad.
That was 2 lands drawn. That was City of Traders and Ursa Saga, neither of which are very great on this position.
No, certainly not.
Not the cards Valtteri was looking for. If he has cards in his hands to deal with the situation, get in somehow a second One Ring on play or speak with the board, he is still in play, but it is looking very dire. For sure.
Yeah, we'll see. That is interesting. An interesting comment in the chat as well. That matchup is it's about having delay line start. It is certainly something that helps, but that's not the only way to go around it. So there is a good chance of winning another way around. But
Here's Besiege the Mirror, sacrificing the
Vault,
which makes sense as well. Going down to 1 doesn't really matter at this point.
well, yeah.
It kind of does, of course, but like
Yes, but there must be something very interesting indeed. Perhaps the Ensnaring Bridge has been sided in. That would make perfect sense.
that would make sense, but Valtteri also has 3 cards in hand.
Right, yeah.
Which does make the bridge a little bit of a feel bad. That is
A-
not a shield red.
No, but it is a card.
Is it damnation?
I'd be surprised, but
It is a
yeah,
damnation.
It is a damnation. That helps. Now, all Valtteri has to do is to take turn
And leave.
and leave.
There is the dead gun on Hermanni's hand.
Yeah,
It doesn't hit players, right?
No, it
Right.
does hit only creatures. I believe at least.
That's
4 mana for
Paragoyf.
Paragoyf.
And
which-
that is the game.
Yeah.
Paragoyf hitting the face, right?
Yes. Why not?
Flametongue New Cavu never could, but Paragoyf, all the guys get... Goyfs get it done,
Goyfs get it done.
as they say in the some states of America.
Really?
Absolutely.
For the next trick.
For our next trick, yes.
Is to have some slight discussions with our latest winner, if we can. And after that, if there are some matches going on, we might even get a second match.
Absolutely.
So-
stay tuned for the interview with the winner of the last round, and we'll see you guys soon.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Finnish Legacy Nationals of 2024. Here from the round 7, we have our winner of the game, Hermanni Heikkala. Welcome to the interviewing table.
Thank you.
So, basically looking for the top 8. How are you feeling at the moment?
I'm feeling pretty great. I mean, last year's nationals, I went to top 8 with a very strict tie, and just managed to make it. So I thought that I was lucky, but maybe not same thing happening this time around again. But I'm quite surprised that I actually made it, and I think I played quite well. So yeah, good matchups also.
I would say that 2 years in a row, that is not a coincidence at that point anymore.
Sure.
I would say. So you have been playing Moonstompy this time. How do you feel about the deck choice overall this year?
I think it's really good. It uses fast mana to bring all the bombs to the battlefield. It utilizes moon effects, Pyrogoyf, One Ring, and I think it's really good. The moon effect is really good against Eldrazi and some other decks that rely on multiple mana sources. And the ring is just great. I mean, Pyrogoyf, Ring, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It's just generates so much pressure and card advantage and damage, so I really like it.
Well, Vexing Bubble has been appearing in multiple different decks.
Yeah.
On this deck, you also mentioned that it was one of the more important newer cards on
Yeah.
the deck. Is there anything else that you feel like has been improving the deck lately?
Well, I think the Pyrogoyf is one big card. I mean, the deck pitches so much cards to the graveyard. When you fill your hand with one ring and you just pick your cards that you want to bring there, so the Pyrogoyf grows, and I think the Pyrogoyf really makes it a great deck at the moment. On the vexing bubbles, of course, you just get to resolve all your threats where beforehand they were just usually most of them critically countered. So yeah.
One thing that we were very amazed on this side of the match when we were looking at, when we realized that, oh, you can actually just use the bubble as a bombardier target as well very easily, which makes it so versatile card in every matchup.
Yeah, I actually forgot to mention Bombardiers. It's basically Bombardiers, Pyrogoyf. They both actually make the aggro and the deck's viable, so it's really aggressive. Yeah.
I would say overall that the Bombardiers, while it also has made the deck very much more viable when it's been introduced, it also makes the gameplay more fun.
Yes.
It closes out the games very fast and in very explosive manners compared to the old Goblin-style games where you always had to start rebuilding the board.
Yes,
basically.
That's right.
So, going to the top 8, that is very likely that we have been discussing here. What would you like to be facing on the top 8s?
I don't know, maybe Eldrazi. I think I have currently 6 moon effects on my main board, so I think based on that I'm slightly favored or quite much favored. But yeah, maybe Eldrazi, maybe least Reanimator or something. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Hermanni, for this interview. Glad to have you here. Good luck for your future matches.
Thank you.
And for you, our dear viewers, we will be seeing you guys very soon. We will check if there is any matches available anymore. And if not, we will go to the top 8 after we get all the players down for that. In the meanwhile, see you guys soon. Don't leave the stream.